Today, we're getting into a really powerful story. It's one that genuinely makes you think about how a single devastating event can just completely reshape a life. We're looking at Pendulum, Grief's Unstable Balance. It's a young adult novel by Kainat Azhar. And our source for this deep dive is an excerpt that really gives us a window into its core themes. Our mission really is to pull out the key insights here. How does someone, a young woman in this case, navigate that incredibly turbulent journey of grief, loss, and ultimately finding herself again? We're trying to find those, universal truths hiding in her specific story. So let me ask you this right at the start. Have you ever stopped to consider how profoundly one single event can change not just your situation, but like your whole trajectory, who you fundamentally are? Because that's exactly what we see happen to Hayat Amanullah, the protagonist in Pendulum.
Yeah, to really get the impact, you have to see where she starts. The excerpt calls her a valedictorian.
Right. And that word alone, it paints a picture, doesn't it? Promise, success, a future that seems, well, mapped out, predictable even. Absolutely. A life of order, maybe ambition, a sense of control, perhaps.
Uh-huh. But then life happens. The unimaginable breaks in. And that map, it just gets torn to shreds.
And the catalyst here is the sudden death of her older brother. It's just heart-wrenching.
And the source material is clear. This doesn't just cast a shadow, it shatters her life.
Yeah.
It's immediate, brutal chaos.
It really is. And what's striking is how quickly that kind of tragedy ripples outwards.
Exactly. It's never just about the personal sadness, is
Yeah.
it? It's more like a systemic breakdown. The excerpt mentions her family falls apart.
Which implies so much more than just grief.
Oh, absolutely. It suggests, a total disruption of their structure, their emotional balance, maybe even practical things like finances. Everything's thrown off kilter.
And Hayat, this promising student, she's suddenly thrust into this completely new role as a caretaker.
Yeah, and what's fascinating, or perhaps tragic, is how loss can force this kind of paradoxical maturity, almost overnight.
Right. The person who might have seemed the most focused on her own future.
Suddenly has to hold everyone else together. She's carrying this immense burden, trying to manage a grieving household while dealing with her own, overwhelming loss.
It's an instant, jarring change. It demands a level of sacrifice that, frankly, most young people just aren't prepared for.
That's a heavy weight to carry, especially when you're young and your own world is just imploded.
So naturally, when everything falls apart like that, you start looking for something to hold on to, right? Some kind of anchor.
Exactly. That instinct to reach out is strong. And Hayat starts searching for solace, for support.
And the excerpt highlights two very specific relationships she turns to. Her best friend's brother and her late brother's best friend.
Which is interesting, isn't it? Why those two?
Yeah, it makes you pause. Out of everyone, why them? What does that tell us about what she needs in that moment of, extreme vulnerability?
Well, if we think about the psychology of it, her choices actually point to something quite common in grief, even if we don't always label it this way. It's like needing two different kinds of connections at the same time. A bridge to the past and maybe a sanctuary in the present.
Okay, explain that a bit more. A bridge and a sanctuary.
So her late brother's best friend, that's the living bridge, right? He's a direct link to her brother. He knew him, shared experiences, probably understands that specific loss in a way others can't.
Ah, so connecting with him is like keeping a part of her brother alive, sharing that specific grief.
Precisely. It's a way to hold on to memory, to feel understood, to preserve that connection to the past that's been so violently cut off.
Okay, that makes sense. And the other one, her best friend's brother.
That could be the neutral sanctuary.
Mm.
It's someone connected to her existing world, her friend group, but maybe without the intense, direct weight of her family's immediate grief.
So like a safe space, somewhere she can just be, without the pressure.
Potentially, yes. It might offer a different perspective, maybe even a bit of an escape from the rawness of her loss at home. It's a known person, but perhaps in a less complicated context right then.
So two very different kinds of support she's seeking out.
Exactly. And both are probably vital. One helps her process the past, maintain that link. The other might offer a bit of breathing room, a chance to form a new, fragile connection in this completely altered present.
It really shows how the mind kind of instinctively tries to manage grief, doesn't it? Balancing memory and just surviving the moment.
It's a really complex dance.
Yeah, it absolutely is. That framing the bridge and the sanctuary is really helpful. It shows those contradictory needs grief creates. And the search for comfort, it leads us right into the heart of Hayat's journey, which is really what the novel is all about. The source says she grapples with loss and identity.
And that word grapples is so important.
Right. It's not passive, it's active. It implies a real struggle, a fight.
Definitely. She's wrestling with huge things. And the core challenge laid out is that she must confront her grief and rediscover who she is.
Confront and rediscover, those are big tasks.
Huge. And, this brings up a really important question. What does it actually mean to confront grief? And how do you rediscover yourself after something so fundamentally changes you?
It's not just getting over it, clearly.
Yeah, not at all. It's an active, often painful engagement with the loss, the memories, that huge hole left behind. And rediscovering identity. Well, it implies the old one, the valedictorian with a set path. That person is gone.
Irrevocably changed.
Exactly. You can't just go back. It touches on ideas like post-traumatic growth. The notion that trauma doesn't just break you, it can force this transformation.
So it's less about repairing the old self and more about forging a new one.
Yes, integrating the experience, building a new identity from the pieces, the old self, the laws, the new responsibilities. It's about creating something new in that crucible of suffering, rather than just trying to patch things up.
She's not just surviving, she's being forced to redefine her whole sense of self.
And that's where the title, Pendulum, Grief's Unstable Balance, becomes so incredibly resonant.
Ah, the pendulum. Let's talk about that metaphor.
Well, pendulum swings.
Right.
It's never perfectly still. It's always in motion.
Back and forth.
Exactly. And that mirrors grief so well. That constant, exhausting swing between, say, deep despair and maybe a fleeting moment of hope, between who she was and this new person she has to be.
Between the stability she knew and the chaos she's living in now.
Precisely. It actually reminds me of what some psychologists call oscillation theory in grief. This idea that you naturally move back and forth between focusing on the loss itself, the pain, the memories, and then focusing on restoration, dealing with life, new roles, moving forward.
So the balance in the title isn't about finding a perfect middle ground and staying there.
Probably not. Maybe the balance is the swinging. Maybe it's about learning to live with that constant motion, that unstable balance. Finding equilibrium within the movement, not by stopping it.
That makes so much sense. Strength isn't being still, it's learning to handle the swings. Mastering the dance, like you said earlier.
Yeah, learning to navigate it.
So if we think about what this means for Hayat, or really for anyone going through something huge like this, trying to piece yourself back together, it's clear that it's not a straight line, is it? Tragedy happens, then you recover. It's not like that.
Not at all. It's a continuous negotiation, really, with a reality that's fundamentally changed. It's this active, sometimes brutal process, confronting the pain, yeah, but also acknowledging what's gone and slowly, patiently building a new understanding of yourself and your life.
And accepting that the new normal might always feel a bit unstable, that there will always be some swing.
Quite possibly. Peace might not look like stillness. It might look like resilience within that instability, a dynamic kind of peace.
Okay, so bringing this deep dive toward a close, it's really clear that this excerpt from Pendulum packs a powerful punch. It gives us such rich insights.
Definitely. Into the transformative power of grief, how it can completely shatter a life and force these immense premature responsibilities onto someone.
And we saw those complex ways people reach out for connection, needing that bridge to the past and that sanctuary in the present. Those instincts are fascinating.
And most importantly, that really difficult but absolutely essential journey of confronting loss, not just to get through it, but to actually redefine yourself because of it.
It really speaks to our capacity to adapt, doesn't it? To integrate loss and find a new way forward, even when things seem impossible.
It does. And it leaves us with a really provocative question, I think, about growth itself.
Go on. What's the question?
Well, does genuine resilience mean finally achieving some kind of static, perfect balance, where the pendulum finally stops swinging? Or does resilience actually mean learning to live with the unstable balance, becoming stronger, more adaptable, precisely because we learn how to navigate those ongoing swings that life inevitably throws at us? Is the strength in mastering the dance, not demanding the stillness?
Wow. That is a powerful thought to leave things on. Mastering the dance rather than demanding stillness. It's something for all of us to think about, really. How have those unexpected challenges, those losses in your own life, or maybe in the lives of people you know, how have they sparked similar journeys? How have you or they found your own way to navigate that unstable balance, integrating loss and moving forward into a new, evolving sense of self? We hope this deep dive gave you some new ways to think about loss, identity, and resilience. Until next time, keep diving deep.